Now we will move on to the next topics, which are data gateway, right? Okay, so I see some questions here. If there is any modification value changes, how can I update in this dashboard? So where it is, where you did this okay, so in Excel, if you make these changes, right? Okay, then you just need to refresh the dashboard. Okay, you just need to refresh the dashboard, and that's it. Your data set, your dashboard values will be automatically refreshed. See, on dashboard, from where the data is coming, on this dashboard, data is coming from where? From the data set. From which data set? From this. So you need to just refresh this data set. Okay, so once you will refresh the data set, it will be automatically refreshed on the dashboard. In order to refresh the data, just refresh the data set here. Okay, and you will get the updated data in your dashboard. That's it. Okay, so now we are going to see the same thing, how we can enable the scheduled data refresh in your data sets, right? Okay, so in order to refresh the data, first you need a data gateway. Okay, so what is data gateway? Data gateway is a separate tool, right, which will help you to refresh the data in your data set. Okay, and data gateway we use only for refreshing the data sets which are coming from the on-premises data source. So let's say if you have any data set, okay, and the source of that data set is, let's say, cloud, for example, like Azure database, or like your Dynamics 65 database, or SharePoint online list. Okay, so such kind of data sources does not require any data gateway to refresh the data. Okay, so it means data gateway is required only for those data sources which are on premises. Okay, so how we can use that data gateway? So the very first thing is we need to download the gateway, then we need to install the gateway, and then we need to configure the gateway. Okay, so I hope that data gateway is already installed. Although data gateway is not you should not install the data gateway on each machine. It should, the best practice is like it should be somewhere on a central machine on a server, and everybody can use the same machine, can use the same gateway. Okay, but if somebody wants to create some test reports or some like own development, then you can use the gateway in your local machine also. But for that, you must need a administrator rights to install anything in your machine. Okay, so the gateway, basically data gateway acts as a bridge between your on-premises data set and your Power BI service reports. Okay, so it helps you to refresh the data. So in order to download the data gateway, first either you can directly search on Google, or from the Power BI service you can click on data gateway button. It will redirect you to the download page of data gateway. All right, so there are two type of data gateways. One is standard mode data gateway, and the second is personal mode data gateway. What is the basic purpose of data gateways? To refresh the data, okay, in your reports. Okay, so basic purpose can be fulfilled by any of the gateway, whether you use standard mode or you use personal mode. Okay, but there are some differences between these two. One is personal mode data gateway cannot be shared with any other person. This is the first thing. Second thing is personal mode gateway cannot be used by any other application. Any other application means personal gateway can be used by Power BI only, but there are some other applications, some other services also. Let's say Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, Logic Apps. These are the different things, right? But if your organization is also using those services, those applications, then you can't use the personal mode gateway for them, right? Because personal mode is only for Power BI. Okay. Another thing is personal mode gateway supports import mode only. It means import connection. It doesn't support direct connection. Okay, what is it, import and direct? That we'll see in the next coming session. While in standard mode, you have more features. Okay, and the good thing is like both are free. So generally, we always used to install a standard mode gateway because in this one we get additional features always. Okay, and there is no impact, there is no cost, no issue, right, to install that in standard mode. So generally we use a standard mode gateway. So now a standard mode gateway can be shared with any other person. Let's say there is one, let's say in your company, if finance team is in finance team, there are like 15 members, and 15 members will be creating their dashboards, their data sets, and they will be refreshing. So you can create one data gateway. Okay, you can set up one data gateway for all, and everybody can use the same gateway. Okay, so it depends on your company. It's your decision how you want to set up the gateways, because some organizations set up the gateways like one is for production gateway, one is test gateway, one is development gateway, or sometimes like each user, each developer, each person is having its own data gateway in machine. Okay, so it's up to you. Now how to download? Just click on it. Once you click, you will see a download button. Okay, it directly start downloading for you. Okay, so once data gateway will be downloaded in your machine, then you need to install it. Okay, so installation process is simple. Next, finish. Once installation will be finished, then you will see another screen where you have to give your data gateway name. Okay, you can choose any name. Okay, define your data gateway name, and after that you have to sign in. So in my machine, I have already signed in. I have already installed the gateway. Okay, open it. So once you provide the gateway name, after that you will see sign in button like this. Okay, so here you see some of the things like gateway version is March 2020, same as Power BI desktop. Microsoft release monthly updates for the data gateway as well. Okay, now you need to click on sign in button here. Here you have to use the same credentials which you are using for the Power BI service. Okay, generally in most of the organizations, this gateway setup and the gateway installation is done by IT team. Okay, but if you want for your learning, you want for your data gateway setup in your machine, then you can do that. Okay, but you need the admin rights for that. So here we have signed in into the data gateway. It means now the data gateway service is running. And what is the data gateway name? What is my data gateway name? Test DG. You can see test DG is my data gateway name. Okay, all right, so now my data gateway is ready to be used. Now the point is how to enable the scheduled refresh in the data sets. All right, now I come to the data set here. In data set, now you see this is my sales data set, right? So in this data set, I want to enable the scheduled refresh. Okay, before that you need to, okay, so one thing we need to understand. So are we clear with that? What is data source? Right, data sources are like Excel, SQL Server, Oracle database. All these are what? Data sources from where the data is coming. Okay, so when you install the data gateway, each data gateway creates one cluster. Cluster is nothing but you can consider it as a container cluster, right? Under each cluster, you have to add all your data sources. Let's say your cluster is this and your cluster name is, as my cluster name, my data gateway name is test DG. Okay, so under this gateway, under this data gateway cluster, I need to add all my sources from where I want to refresh the data. So for example, I want to refresh the data Excel. So the Excel, what's the path of that Excel? Okay, that I need to add. Okay, I need to assign this Excel under the data gateway. It means, so basically what we are doing when we are adding the data set, so this is what, this is my data source, not the data set, this is my data source. So I'm adding the data source under the data gateway. So what is happening here by adding it? I'm simply telling my data gateway that here is my source, this is the file, this is the username and password, and now start communicating with Excel. Go in Excel, get the data and refresh it. Go in Excel, get the data and refresh it. Okay, so in the same way, let's say I add the SQL Server data source in my data gateway. So it means I'm telling my data gateway, this is my server name, this is my database name, here is my credentials. Now for the defined tables, you are responsible to refresh the data now. Okay, so for all the data sources we need to add, all data sources we need to add under the data gateway. Okay, all means not all, like which you are not using. Let's say if you are not using Oracle, then you don't need to add. Let's say if you are using Excel data set data source, SQL Server data source, or if any other also you have, then you can add that. Okay, make sure only on premises data source you need to add here. If there is, let's say, Excel online or Azure data set or any other cloud data warehouse, any other cloud source, then for that you don't need any gateway. Okay, gateway is required only for on premises data sources. So you need to add the data sources under the gateway first. Okay, so let's see how we do it. Go to settings, go to manage gateways. So when I go to manage gateways, here you see my gateway is there, gateway cluster, right? So in this gateway, if you see Excel data, one data source is already added, right? If you want, you can remove the existing data gateway, existing data sources, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove it and I'll show you that how you can add it from your side. Okay. So I'm removing the existing data source. It's done, removed. Now I want to add the Excel here. Okay. I want to tell my data gateway to get the data from Excel. So I click here and add data source. What is the data source name you want to give? Any name you can define. This is your Excel, let's say sales Excel data. Okay. Any data source name you can define here. What is the data source type? Whatever yours is, let's say Excel. For Excel, you will see file. Now here you need to define the file path. Okay, so what is the file path of my Excel? So where was my Excel file? Let's say this one. So I'm going to get the complete path of this Excel. Here is the complete path. Copy it, paste it here, right? So now it means here is my Excel. So whenever I'll update the data in this Excel file, data gateway will refresh the data from this Excel. Okay. Now next I need to define the Windows username and password for it. Okay. So for defining the Windows username and password, I'm just to stop sharing because it's my, because username is not like hidden here. It will be visible. Okay. In case if you are adding the SQL as a data source, right? Then you can add data SQL data source as a Windows authentication or a SQL Server authentication also. Okay. So here I added my username and password and applied, and here the connection has been successful. Okay. Now, when I was saying like you can share the data gateway with others, so this gateway is ready. Now you can share it with other people. Right now, I can access it. Let's say I want to enable Munag also to access this gateway. So I can enable Munag, and let's say some other person. Few names I remember, right? So you can do something like this. Okay, so I share this data gateway with these people. Add it. Now these people also can use this same gateway to publish their reports, to schedule data refresh in their reports. Okay. All right. So now my data set, my data source has been added under the data gateway. Now we can enable the data refresh for it. So, okay. So this is my data set. Here you click on this schedule refresh. All right, so here is one issue actually with this data set, because this is not the exact data set like published through the Power BI server, Power BI desktop. This is something like we loaded manually, right? We loaded directly in the Power BI service. So for that, what we need to do, we need to, because this one we can't refresh, right? We can't like manually automatically refresh. We can manually refresh only, right? Let me just get another example for the same data set. Yeah, I think for this also I'm having the same data visualization. Okay, so let me check what is the data visualization for it. Okay, let me do one thing quickly. I'm getting the data from this folder, because what I did, I added the folder, this folder. Okay, but this file from this path, we haven't created any report or any data model from the Power BI desktop. Okay, so that's why it's not showing me any data set for to refresh it. Okay, so here I'm going to quickly add a report. So I get it. So I'm loading the data from my orders table. All right, so data has been loaded. Now let's quickly build a visual. Country and profit, something like this. And now here I'm just going to add the total number of records. So total number of records I can show from order ID. Okay, so how many total distinct records, not distinct, total records I have? Let's count it. So total records I have 51.29K. Let me change it to none. So here I see 51290 total records I have. Okay. Now I'm going to publish this report, sign in Power BI service. Now click on publish. Before that, it needs to be saved. This is my data refresh report. It's my report name. Okay. Any name you can define. I save the report. Then here I'll see the workspaces. So I'm going to publish this report, and let's say in my workspace. Report has been published, success message. Now let's go to the browser and then go to the workspace here. Now here you see data refresh report. If I go to the dataset, data refresh report, right? So now click on the refresh button, and now I go to the gateway connection. For this gateway, you see the gateway is running here. It's green. If it is not running, then you will see it in the red. Okay. Now you need to choose you need to map this data gateway with a source, and we have already defined a source here. You see sales Excel data. Okay. So this source we defined here from manage data gateways, right? So under this gateway, we added this source, right? Sales Excel data set. So now we are telling this data set to use this gateway and use this source, right? Apply. Now your gateway connection is ready. It's enabled. Then you see another schedule refresh button here, right? So here you can turn on the schedule refresh, and here you can define the times. I want to refresh it on daily or weekly basis, let's say. So I want to refresh on, for example, daily basis. Here you can choose the time zones. And now I want to refresh it based on these timings, right? So here you can add your timings, like after, like time interval should be 30 minutes at least. Okay, so like this you can add your timings when you want to refresh your report. Okay, so maximum 8 times you can refresh, max 8 times you can define here. Got it? Because using the Power BI Pro license, you can refresh maximum 8 times in a day. All right. Once 8 times will be completed, then you will not be able to add next time here. Let's say now I have added the 8 times. Now I can't add another time here. So it means in a day, I can refresh only 8 times maximum and on 30 minutes of interval. Okay. Here you can set, you can add any user. If data refresh got failed, then user will get the email alerts, right? Otherwise, by default, the dataset owner, like me, I will get the notification email if the data refresh is failure. Then apply. Now your dataset will be refreshed based on the defined timings every day. Okay. Now here you see a refresh history button. Next refresh is scheduled for this date, right? Once the refreshes will be done, you will be able to see the history here. Okay. All right. So this is a way like how you set the scheduled refresh for your data sets. If you want to refresh the data set right now, you don't want to wait for this time, then you can refresh manually. Okay. And there is no limit in refreshing your data set manually. Just click on this button, refresh now. It is a manual refresh. Click on it. Your data set will start refreshing. If you want to see, go to refresh history. Here you see your on demand refresh is in progress and you started it at this time. Okay, once it will completed, then you will see the end time here. Okay, so it based on your data, based on the data size and based on the network connection. Okay, it will refresh your data here. So you see, it has been completed. Okay, now let's open the report. So now in your report, you will be able to see the updated data. Okay, so right now it is showing 51290 records. For example, if I remove some records from this Excel, okay, then see how does it refresh, how does it looks like. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete some of the records. Let's say 1000 records I'm going to delete from here. Okay, so now what I did, I have updated my Excel sheet. Save it. Now how many records it is showing? 51290. Right, total records is this. So now let's refresh this manually and it will show the updated data in my report. Okay, so this is still going on. Let it be completed first. Okay, it has been completed. Now let's go to the report and see how many records are appearing now. Just refresh your report page. Here you see 50291. Right, so 1000 records have been deleted. It means now your report data has been updated. Got it? All right, so let's summarize it. Standard or personal mode. Okay, I will recommend you to always use the standard one. Okay, because it gives you more many functionalities, right? So first you install the data gateway. Sorry, first you download the data gateway. Which one? Based on a requirement, download data gateway. Okay, then you install the data gateway, then you configure data gateway, right? DG is data gateway. Okay, you configure the data gateway and you define a name for your gateway. Define name and a recovery key. When you will be configuring the gateway, it will ask you to define a recovery key. What is it? It's nothing. It's just a key. Let's say if you have installed, let's say if one person install the gateway, let's say I install the gateway, okay, using my credentials, using my username and password. Let's say tomorrow I leave the company. Okay, I left the company. Then what will happen? The gateway will stop. So that recovery key, if you have, then you can migrate. You can take over that gateway on another account. Okay. So this recovery key could be anything. You can define anything. Okay. So recovery key is required only for when you want to migrate or you want to like move your gateway from one server to another server. Okay, so then this recovery key will be required. So define and recovery key on the configure steps, configure data gateway steps. One, your data gateway is configured, then you login. Login is means you are running the data gateway service. You run login data gateway to run the service. Okay, and where you will see that data gateway service is running. Let's go to the services.msc section here. Here you see all the services are running of your Windows machine. Okay, so here somewhere you go on premises, you see on premises data gateway service, right? So this is the service which is running. So when you log in here, it means this service will start running. Okay, so if sometimes the service is stopped, then you have to log in again into the data gateway and service will start running automatically. Or you can come here manually and you can start it from here also. Okay, but sometimes users doesn't have the permission to start from here, so you can sign in, you can log in from the front end. So you log in, then you add the data source under your data gateway clusters. From where? From manage gateway, from settings and manage gateway. If you see here, you go to settings and manage gateways. From here, you add the data source under the data gateway, right? Add data source under data gateway clusters from settings and manage gateway section. All right. The next, you enable data gateway for data sets. All right. How? Let's say now your gateway is ready. So you go to the data set. Under the data set, you go to schedule refresh. And here you define the gateway connection. Okay. So you enable data gateway connection for data sets, right? From data set, on data set, you go to schedule refresh. Okay. So from here, you enable the data gateway connection for data sets, and then you set data refresh frequency. From where you set it, you go to schedule refresh and you define the timings here. From schedule refresh. That's it. Your reports, your data set will start refreshing based on the defined times. If you want, you can manually refresh also. Is it clear to everybody? Any doubt, any question you have in any step? Data gateway is very important because every user will use this at one point of time, right? Or you can do manual refresh. Okay. All right. Now let's move to the another point, which is admin portal, right? Which is admin portal. So most of the times what happens, like you need to manage some settings or some permissions for the end users, right? Then you must have the access of admin portal. What is it? It is admin portal. Okay. So Power BI administrators basically use this portal, or like super user or any particular person in the company use this setting because everybody cannot have the access of it. So admin portal you can access from settings. Here you see admin portal. If you have the access of this admin portal, then you will see all these things here, right? From the usage matrices, you can have a statistics about the usage of Power BI in your company. Okay. So this is what like many people are asking. So let's say in your company right now, there are 7 dashboards, 25 reports, 18 data sets. Okay. So which most consumed dashboard by users? So this dashboard is consumed right now by 5 users. This one is also 5 users. So here you can see this is statistics, right? Most consumed packages by users. So there are a lot of things. Okay. So once you will start using the Power BI in your tenant in your organization, then this matrices will give you more data, more information. Okay. Based on that, you can take the decision. Let's say if there is any dashboard, okay, but that dashboard is not assigned to anybody. Okay, anybody is not consuming that dashboard here, something like this, then you can look for it. Why user is not looking for it, or if the data refresh is running on it and it's consuming a lot of hardware resources, then you can stop the data refresh for this data, for this dashboard, or for this particular report. Why? Because it's not consumed by anybody. Then why to refresh unnecessary the data? Okay. So usage matrix give you this information, but you can see the admin portal only if you have the admin rights of Power BI. Okay. If you have the admin rights of Power BI. If you are not having the admin rights, then you will not be able to see anything here. All right. Then next important thing here, we have tenant settings. Under the tenant settings, you can manage a lot of things about your tenant, right? For example, if you do not want to allow your users to export the data in Excel or in PowerPoint, then you can stop them. You can restrict this functionality from here. Okay. So here you can see this is help and support settings, workspace settings. Right now, everyone is able to create the workspace, right? So if I, as an admin, if I disable this functionality, right now, you will not be able to create the workspace. Okay. Anybody just try to create the workspace? Go Power BI service, click on create new workspace, and check whether you are able to create a new workspace or not. Okay. And to reflect the settings, it takes generally, it says like it will refresh in reflected in 15 minutes, but practically it reflect at the same time. Okay. So can anybody just quickly go and try to create a workspace, and let's see whether you are able to create or not. All right. Okay, so I see an error here. Swing app workspace creation is disabled. Okay, I have created. You created because you haven't refreshed this. So once you will refresh this page, then that will be like setting will apply. Okay. Okay, you created earlier. Now, if you will try to create, then you will not be able to create that. Why? Because I have disabled, as an admin, I have disabled this functionality. Now, users are not allowed to create the workspace. Okay. So such kind of things you can manage from the tenant settings part. Got it? When I enable it, I can enable the specific users also to create the workspace or the entire organization. Okay. So in the same way, you can manage a lot of settings. Let's say if you do not want to allow the users to export the data in Excel, then you can come here and you can disable. Now people will not be able to export the data in Excel from the Power BI service. Got it? So this is the use of the admin portal for all the settings, and there is not any different thing for each. You can either disable or enable the functionality. That's it. Okay. So related to any activity which you want to enable or disable, or which you want to like anything you want to allow or restrict your users for any functionality, any feature, then you have to do that from the tenant settings under the admin portal. Okay. And only one person, one admin can have this functionality, can this permission. Okay. So there are a lot of settings, and Microsoft is continuously adding new and new settings there. Got it? So this is the use of the Power BI admin portal. Okay. Okay. So I see I have created but shared, not shared. Shared the workspace with you. Can you please check? Okay, let me check here. Let me refresh first. Yes, I can see your workspace. I can see here. Okay, but now I can see your workspace. So in the same way, everyone has to create a workspace and share with me, and needs to put all your content here. Okay, as I see this workspace is right now blank, nothing is there. So you need to create your assignments. Okay, and then you need to publish your reports here. Okay. All right, so is it clear, everybody? I see one question. Is there a limit on number of admins we can have? No, there's not limit. Let's say if in your company 500 users, so 500 users can be a admin, but practically it's not possible. Only 1 or 2 should be having the admin rights. Right, when I go to the next, when I'm trying to open gateway, asking admin credentials. So trying to opening, yes, because you do not have the permission to run the service. As you see here on my laptop, I'm the admin, right? So when you are trying to open the gateway, so it means you are trying to run or stop it. You are trying to start or stop this service. So this has been restricted from your IT team. Okay. So you need IT team help to start the service or to log in into the data gateway. Okay. Once you log in it, then it will be always, the service will be always running. Okay. Until unless you manually stop it, or until unless you like shut down your laptop. Although if you shut down the laptop, then this will automatically start because the startup type is automatic. If you see here, startup type is automatic. Okay. So one time you need to ask your admin, and then they will start the service for you. Okay. And in the credentials, you will have to use your Power BI service credentials. Got it? All right. Data flow allows the business users to do the data modeling on Power BI service. Okay. Or you can say query editor on Power BI service. Okay. Next question I see here. Can we add data labels in Quick Insights? No. You can't do anything in the Quick Insights. If it is coming in blue color, then it will be in blue. You can't change it. If it is showing the values in thousands, then it will show in thousands only. Okay. You can change any labels. Okay. So you mean labels means you want to change the name of the titles? I think yes, you are asking this. Okay, let me open the dashboard for a better understanding. So this is a quick dashboard I created. So now you want to change this title, right? Average of shipping cost by ship year category. You want to change it, correct? If you want to change it, then this you can change. Okay. Click here and go to added details. You can change the names here, right? Average of shipping cost by year and country. You can change it here like this. If you want, you can display the last refresh time also. So only this thing you can change. But let's say if you want to change this, the green color, if you want to change, no, that's not possible. Only the title. Display the numbers also. No, you can't display the numbers here. Okay. This is like automatic. It will come automatic. You can't change anything on it now. Only you can change the label of your visual, the title of your visual. That's it. Okay. So if you see here that it is in green color, if you want to make any change for it, then no, you can't change anything in it. Okay. In Power BI desktop, yes, you can change that. As I created this using the data, using the Q&A functionality, right? In Power BI desktop, we don't have the quick insights. Okay. So if anything you create using the Q&A, then you can change that by just going to the format section. All right, guys. So that's all from my side for this session. Thank you.